Welcome to Your Vote, the St. Joseph News Press Now's coverage of the upcoming municipal election. I'm local government reporter Quinn Ritzdorf, and we are continuing our Q&A series with the mayoral candidates. This time, it's our third interview with them covering crime. With us, Gary Wilkinson. Gary, thanks for doing this again, third time.
Thank you.
First question, both you and Josendale have said that you guys want to bring more resources to public safety agencies in town. What do you mean by that? What are those resources?
Well, resources that I'm talking about are equipment, training, and finances. Our public safety officers are probably some of the lowest paid in the region, and in that respect, we're losing them to other cities. We need to be competitive, not just in the public safety, but in all aspects of our employment for the city. Because we are understaffed from 20 to 25 officers, it puts a strain. It not only affects the safety of the citizens, but it puts a strain on those that are on the police force. So we need to address that situation.
You just mentioned the staffing numbers at the police department. What can the city do to increase those numbers and make it, enticing to work here?
Well, we have a public safety tax, and evidently it's not doing what it should do. Now, I think when the citizens passed that tax, they were expecting it to address the problem. So I'd like to find out why it's not, and then maybe we could do something to help relegate the situation.
As far as the fire department goes, it seems like there's at least one structure fire every single day. Mm-hmm. In your mind, what can be done to kind of limit those structure fires, or at least help the fire department in some way?
Well, I think that comes with another issue of crime, and we're talking about individuals who are in those facilities, in those buildings for shelter. Yeah. Homeless people that are out on the streets. They're out on the streets for various reasons. A lot of it's mental health related. The state, in its wisdom, started putting those individuals out instead of caring for them at some time, and so we're reaping the benefits of that. And also, I think we have problems with drug abuse within this community. Mental health and drug abuse are two issues that we should be addressing, and I think that's going to help solve some of the problems we have with these structure fires.
As far as both the fire and the police departments, the city still needs to give them the rest of their pay plan that was promised to them. The problem is tight budget. What would be your strategy to find that money and make sure they get the rest of their pay plan?
Well, first of all, if you pass a public safety tax and it's supposed to address an issue, you shouldn't take the money that was coming from the general fund and replace it. That's something I think that's a problem when we're talking about the revenue issue with the public safety tax. So right now, the general fund is low, and the public safety tax is not enough to address that issue. Then you have a problem with accountability of the people that were in office at that time. Why didn't they do what they said they were going to do? So whoever gets into office is going to have to get the confidence of the public back. And if they have to go to the public for another revenue issues, they're going to have to explain exactly what happened at that time.
Just in general, when it comes to public safety, whether it's police, fire, or health department, are there any changes or different strategies you'd want to implement when it comes to those agencies?
For the agencies, I don't know that there's different strategies. I think we need to make sure that they are well trained and well equipped. The public safety officers, when they encounter the public, it's usually in a high stress situation. So we need to have some of the best qualified and best trained. Our recruitment and selection should be top notch, so we get individuals that can handle those situations. And then we need to provide them with the equipment and the training, the tools they need to get the job done.
You've mentioned the number of, the drugs in town, the drug problem. There's been drug overdose deaths have more than doubled in just 2 years. What steps would you take to limit, the problem in town?
Well, there's one thing that's come about. The recent opioid litigation has provided us with funding, a substantial funding that's going to be coming to the city. I think these funds should be earmarked to provide treatment and rehabilitation facilities for people who are suffering from this opioid problem.
That was going to be my next question. You know, you just said it. City's receiving 1.3 million in this settlement. It is coming over, 20 years. Mm-hmm. They are expecting a, heavy amount to be in the first half of that. But so you would spend that money on drug rehabilitation centers?
Right. The type of drug rehabilitation centers or whatever it is, we need to get the experts in here. We need to consult with them. We also need to consult with law enforcement officials, get everybody into it so that we can come up with a comprehensive plan that'll be workable. Too many times we come up with plans that they just don't pan out. So I think if we do that with the money dedicated to that issue, we can probably solve some of those problems.
Violent crimes, last year violent crimes increased. I think murders quadrupled last year. There've already been a number of shootings and murders this year. How would you bring that number back down?
I think that goes to what I had stated before in our selection and training. Our police force is the people who are first in contact with these things when they come about. They're the ones that can have the most effect on it. And when you're talking about prevention, we need to have some prevention strategies. Talk with the community, get the community involved, and come up with some strategies to try to prevent some of this stuff. A lot of it is caused because of the economy, because of COVID, all of these things. We need to come together, provide treatment centers or whatever is necessary to address the issue. When we talk, we don't have enough jails, we don't have enough facilities to treat everybody. So we're going to have to find some prevention strategies to keep these people out of those facilities.
You've brought up the homeless population in town. I think the last count was 120 plus here in St. Joseph. How would you aid those people that are homeless in town?
That's a good question. Provide opportunities in ways that they can not be homeless. And you're going to get a certain percentage that are going to take advantage of that, but you're also going to get those that they're not going to take advantage of it because either they're not capable of comprehending it or they just don't want to. But those people, as long as they're not a public safety risk, we need to address the ones that really want to get help and provide help. And the ways that we can provide help, I think we stated before, you can provide treatment and rehabilitation facilities and also job training. That's another thing we can focus on. If people want to work, sometimes you see them standing out on the corners with the signs, "We'll work." Okay, let's see if they want to work.
My last question here: St. Joseph's poverty rate is 6% percentage points higher than the state average. What needs to be done in your mind to bring that poverty rate lower and help those who are low income?
Well, the poverty rate, I think it translates to some of the employers make sure that they're paying livable wages. And I think we have some substantial industries that are able to do that. And we need to get the people into those positions. Now, job training. Our job training facility, the major one we have now is Hilliard's. And to my understanding, there's a lot of programs for adults training at that facility. So we need to up that, get it up to where it should be so we can train some of these adults and get them back into the workforce.
That's all I had. Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I'm glad that's it.